Hey there, welcome back guys. This video is actually going to be a Q&A for those who have asked questions and haven't had them answered yet. And just special thanks to FPV Unknown for sharing those rates. And we'll probably start with that question and a couple others. I was actually doing some research on the remote ID because I forgot, I believe it was if the drone is below 250 grams, which is really cool. So I could see how a lot of guys are getting into FPV because, hey, some of these drones weigh, I think, 190 grams. I was just weighing one particular drone that I have here, the Gep RC, and I was like, I wonder how much it weighs. And it weighs, nice, 161 grams. So you don't need remote ID in this. And imagine going a little bit bigger, getting a Gep RC, maybe 35 or 40. I'm not sure, but you could always look at the specs to the weight requirements. The only downside to this drone is that you gotta know how to fly it. So kudos to you if you've mastered that skill. But on that note, let's move forward and see what some of these questions are. Motor Everything ME commented, "It's your laptop. Why it's jello. I had to clear my RAM for my Mac to run it right." All right, so basically he's talking about the flight simulator liftoff. Apparently looked like there was some jello happening in my video. You know how sometimes trees appear from nowhere. You can just fly right through things, and that doesn't happen in the real world. So it looked like things were jelloing, and apparently it's the RAM. So I guess you have to clear the RAM by using an app like Clean My Mac or I think it's called Privacy Scan. I have it here. Privacy Scan. Whoops. When you're tired. Huh. Anyway, there's an app called Privacy Scan. Priva. I had it. It was on here. Maybe it didn't install with the last update. Printer scans. I have every other scan on there. Maybe it's in the desktop somewhere. Anyway, it's there. And you can Google it. The app is called Privacy Scan. Why it didn't show up, I don't know. Maybe everything's indexed. One Monkeys. Welcome to the channel. Nice to have you here. Kawa Mohabadan. Thank you for joining us. And then we have another comment. "Hey there, awesome video as always. Quick question. I've always been pondering if it's necessary to remove propellers when adjusting the motors in FPV. Also, I was curious about default, just check it out, about default direction motors are shipped. By the way, the motors have 10 motor pole magnets, right? I have counted the number of magnets in a motor and I found 10, although the factory settings put 12. Any idea why? Of course, I'm asking about this to make sure bidirectional D-Shot and RPM filter work correctly." I think you got too much time on your hands because I do not know how many magnets are inside the motor. Wow, that's really interesting that you went all out on that. Kudos to that. That's impressive because I myself don't know. So on that note, how many magnets are there? Let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I believe 10. Yeah. Did he say 10? About roughly 10. 10 more. Wow. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I would never dream or think about counting that. But when it comes to motors, my motors are still coming. They're shipped. I'm hoping that when I solder and install the motors, I'll be able to flash the firmware, and the firmware will hopefully dictate which directions the motors should go in. Apparently, some pilots say you have to use Bilaheli. There's another app to it to rotate your motors, but that's not something I want to get into. I'm hoping that I can just flash the firmware, and the firmware will, again, the firmware for that particular drone. But if you're going custom, things get a little bit different. Yes, I would take off I would take off the propellers, but if you don't, I would recommend wearing like safety goggles because those propellers can go flying. And one time I was adjusting my rates, looking for the holy grail of rates to try and find something, and I couldn't. So I set the settings in a frequency that was so weird that the propellers just broke off. Kind of like an opera singer when she's singing, the frequency can break glass. Well, apparently, little behold, there's a frequency. I think I set it too low and things were vibrating. It was going like that, like a saw, and it just popped right off from the vibration. So on that note, yeah, I would recommend, what did they say? Preventative is always cheaper than damage control. So just imagine the damage control, how, if something went into your eye. So just take them off. And, if you're going that deep into the rabbit hole, it's better to be safe than sorry. But on the Pavo Pico, you're not going to be doing any calibration to the rates. To the propellers, because you just flash the firmware, put them on. But we'll see what happens in that video, because again, my order, they apparently put together the shipping label, but it's like pending, no update. Maybe it's in the middle of the Atlantic, or no, Pacific, because it's coming from the other side. All right. So next question or comment. FPB unknown. FPB unknown is anonymous, but really helpful to the channel. Has shared the rates, has shared, follow him, and subscribe to their channel. But he or she or they, whoever you are, you've been super helpful, and I'm grateful to that. But next question, FPB, have you tried those settings I told you about yet? Drone imagery. Yes, I tried the settings. Let's have a look inside and see. But it didn't work. And I actually tried them tonight, because tonight was the night I was actually able to try your rates. Sometimes, I do this in my free time, so I wasn't able to. That's weird. Oh, that's because it's connected to the wrong one. And I also tried it on the Gep RC, which was really weird, thinking like, hey, maybe I need a better drone to try this configuration on. But no, that didn't do much either. And again, Pavo Pico needs some help. Whoops. Now, this is the worst part about the Pavo Pico. Don't worry, there's a video coming on the version 2, but I don't want to crash. I don't want to do... you want your good drone to be your good drone. This is my basher. Kind of like the RC car back there is my basher. This drone. And this is a great first starter drone. It's been crashed so many times, and it upholds. I don't know if you've seen the videos. It's crashed into the roof, etc. Like concrete and etc. All right, so let's just get started. So they had suggested the rates. So this is what I did with the rates. I put 70 going down here, 400 going down here. I put 22 in here. Someone suggested 22, but it just didn't work out. Scale 0.50 there, and then 70. If you suggest something, like maybe just like throttle limit, etc. Throttle limit percentage. Like I put 70, and I remember you saying don't go 65, and you were right. 65 just caused the drone just to go bonkers. I think that had to do with the frequencies and the vibrations causing the propellers to pop when I put it lower. All right. But we're off track, going back to the question. All right. So I set the beeper to 3. 3 didn't seem to do much. I couldn't really hear it because the Pavo Pico has a really low. And I turned on the RX, lost. Beeps when TX is turned on or off, but it didn't work. Let's try on a reboot though. All right. Let's see. Nothing. See, on a reboot, there was no beep. And there was also no beep on, go back into configuration. Usually you can have a beep when the USB is connected. See, nothing. There was no beep. A beep when armed. Sometimes when it arms, it sends a little power. Maybe the power has to be in. Let's see. And hopefully it'll be louder, right? Nothing. And this is a good battery. Let's try another battery. Okay. Yeah, but this happens sometimes with the Pavo Pico. Like, you do something, then it works. Do something, and then it doesn't work. So nothing. Oh, there it is right there. Oh, actually, we could test the battery when we connect. See, it's a pretty good, it's a decent amount of voltage in there to be able to give us a beep. So that didn't work. Beep when ready, maybe. All right, and then we'll just do that and go to the next question. But thank you for this. And as you can see, it's just not working. All right, so we'll connect again and go to the next question. Next question coming up. Let's go back into Chrome. Let's see. Oh, this guy's funny. Wade Williams. He does like just, you know. All right, next one. Commented, do the ducks come in while flying? No, everything seems to work. The ducks don't get in the way. Was that the right drone? Yeah, the Pablo Pico. No, everything is designed to just work organically. And if the ducks do come in, it's because you crashed, which would be like this one. See, the only way the duck's gonna come in is when you crash, and then it won't even go. It may go into the propellers, but the drone's designed to, when it crashes, it's pretty resilient. And I don't know what I crashed into. I don't remember what I crashed into that caused it to break, because I'm still puzzled to this day, because the Pablo Pico, again, it holds strong. If I was going to give an award to the drone, it would definitely be really strong. Next one, new subscriber, Sevabor Bojevak. Welcome to the channel. And then we have record on DJI remote. Oh yes, that's just a video. I did a recording video for the DJI remote because someone actually found me. They emailed me, and they're like, "Hey, I was wondering how you." So that video is for that person. Good sleuthing to ya. Great PI work, piloting command. SPJ commented, I think you're overly concerned about overheating while flying. In many years of flying HD quads, I've never had one cut out in flight. And I live in the low, hot desert. Admittedly, I do turn off. What does he turn off? Read more. Admittedly, I just can't see. Oh, wow. Big difference. Okay. Admittedly, I do turn off heat protection. Oh, wow. I didn't even know that was a feature. You guys, look for heat protection as a way to turn it off. Even so, if it gets hot enough, it will shut off. Mr. Bradwell asserts. I think he's talking about Josh Bradwell. He's the godfather of FPV. So, yeah, your question about the propellers, I would definitely reach out to Josh, because I'm sure he has like whole get up and forums, and someone will be able to answer that question. Like some sort of moderator will just jump on it, which is great. But except that comes at a cost. I'm pretty sure you'll have to become part of the membership program. But it's worth it, especially like I said, preventative is always cheaper than damage control. Okay. Mr. Bradwell asserts that you cannot possibly burn out the air unit from perhaps waiting for a difficult retrieval. It'll protect itself. Yeah, that's right. It just fall from the sky and shut off. It'll protect itself. You are correct about being concerned about overheating when the device is on the ground. However, if powered up on the beach, I will have a fan running on it. If crash for some reason, and if I know generally where the quad is, I will turn TX power to the lowest. Oh, interesting. TX power to the lowest. I have to experiment with that. Setting up 25 MW while hiking in for it. So in other words, you have to go geocaching for your drone after you lose it. That's the only downside to these drones. By the way, you've done a good job on this video. Great. Thanks for that. Yeah, thank you. And I'm glad that this video helped you. That's the only downside to these drones, is that they will fall from the sky. And like, I don't know if you saw me crash in my yard. I'm like, where is it? I can't find it. And luckily I had the GPS activated. So it said it was 6 feet away. So I knew where 6 or whatever feet away it was from where I was standing. And I was able to find it that way. So you have to be good at geocaching And I'm pretty sure down the line, DJI is going to join in on the game, and they're going to come up with their own version of the FPV that's just going to be phenomenal. They already have the DJI Avata, but I think they need to come up their game and come up with a hobbyist version, because imagine all the customers that will follow, that you want your following to follow you, and that's a total game changer. But thank you for that, STEGI. And I will definitely keep that in mind. And actually, this one I'm going to copy and paste because I want to see for myself what these actual settings are for the beach. And that's tricky, flying in the beach, because the sand. You get sand in your propellers. How do you clean them out, especially from the Pablo Pico, right? All right, so I'm just pasting that in because I want to learn more about that. All right, next video. Okay, different with this chip in Betaflight. Oh yeah, I'm actually working on another video with the Pablo Pico version 2, and working on a video of taking the because this one crashed, and I soldered the motor, propeller motor on, and it got a butchered job because I don't have any spare. I never thought that I would have to repair this, but if you crash it hard enough, the propellers will disconnect, and then you solder it back on, but then it's not the same. And when you tape it, use the this tape to tape it back on. So that's what's basically holding this tape holding together this thing. All right. You have been way more helpful than beta FPV support was, but I followed all the steps, and my drone will continuously come up with an error message of Windows being unable to recognize the device. Yeah. And Betaflight keeps saying fail to open serial port. I'm really hoping your next video will show me how to fix this, because I have no idea at this point. I feel like I spent my money on something completely pointless. Well, don't give up just yet. I'm working on the video, and as you know, everything I do happens in real time. So if it's not working for you, I don't know what to say. It's a lot of troubleshooting, and I do that in my videos too. I troubleshoot. I feel bad for this person, Snowy the polar bear, but they mentioned something about saying fail to open serial port. Yeah, you get that error when it fails to disconnect. One solution that I've tried, and the video that was uploaded today. Alexa, what's today's date?
Today is Wednesday, September 20th.
September 20th. There was a video uploaded for the GEP RC, and one of the solutions, I reached out to GEP RC, and they said you should try YouTube for a solution. I'm like, are you fucking shitting me? YouTube? You guys made the freaking thing, and it came with the wrong firmware on there, and it wasn't working. It was beeping like crazy, and they sent me a link to 3 videos. So anyway, my point is, try YouTube. No, I'm just kidding. Look at that video, because what I did in that video, you might have to do for your version 2 drone. So what I did was I downloaded the firmware for that drone from their website. Let's say in this case it would be Beta FPV. Download it from their website, and then reconfigure everything from that fresh firmware. Okay? And then for you, you might have to just try that, or just wait for the video, but I'm working on it. Okay. Next question. Thank you very much, buddy, for a useful video. I bought myself such a drone, and I'm waiting to receive it. That's great. Kudos to you. I couldn't wait for that too. What I saw, I was on Instagram, and someone had the DJI Avata, and they put the Pablo Pico on top of it, and they did some sort of transition effect. I was like, oh wow, that's really cool. Wait, is that really the Avata? No, that can't be the Avata. And I was like, wow. And I asked a question. I was like, hey, what is that? And of course they didn't answer. I was like, no, I'm serious. What drone is that? That's so cool. Is that the Avata, or was that special effects? And of course they didn't answer. So then I just started Googling it. I was like, oh, wow. I was like, mini baby Yavata. And then I kept typing in mini this, mini that drone. And then finally it came up, Pavo Pico, mini whatever it was called. I was like, that's it, that's the drone. I was like, it really does exist. And I was so excited. And then I was watching a lot of the videos on the Pavo Pico, but none of them were in English. And they were all like these fast videos on how to put it together, but no one really reviewing it. And it took the DJI O3 Air unit. So I know exactly what you're going through. Nexus 06065800606. Yeah, about that. It's really interesting screen name, but it could be an alias of some sort. Really cool. Oh no, he's got FPV goggles. This is a real deal. We like when people or that are deeply involved in the FPV and they're experts and they just come and join the channel for beginners, which is awesome. I mean, even though some might come and just watch the video, but remember, this is a channel for beginners. But I get really, I feel really honored when a veteran stops by and says, hi, this is exactly what I was looking for. All right, so my pleasure. And then I send them the link to the one at GPS. Great video. After binding it with the Pavo Pico, are you still able to use it with DJI Avata? Or do you need to rebind it? Yes, so that's a good question. Yes, so what you do is you go into your settings and then you just reconfigure it. So I know I was looking there I'll show you what I was looking at, thinking that I would see myself there, but there's no need, because I do the setup in the beginning with this, but actually I should shut it off. So you put your goggles back on and you switch it. So in this case, it's switched to the DJI O3 Air unit, and you usually don't have any trouble binding it. It just goes back. It's able to go back and forth as long as you have the drone selected that you want to have the goggle experience for. Okay, if that makes any sense, you just go back, toggle in, and switch. But I find myself flying this more, really cool, love it, than the Avata. I guess once you go into the FPV world, you're sort of like, there's a little rabbit hole. It just keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper. But the good thing with the Pavo Pico, I could see myself working on this for the next year. So it's not like, that's why the Gep RC has been in a box for, many months now, because, I spend my time with my baby. All right. Next question. It's a Pavo Pico. You don't have to take screenshots. Just have all settings from the CLI by typing dump all. Hit enter and save the file. Yes. At Life a Bike. Thank you for that. And after that, I stopped taking screenshots, and I've been taking a dump all the time. Actually, that came out wrong. I've been doing a CLI dump moving forward, which works out really well because you're able to customize your settings in the CLI. It's like, oh, I like those settings. I'm going to keep those. And then you just label the text file. Or you have up to, I think, 4 profiles inside of your Betaflight. But I use one for my Pavo Pico, the Gep RC, and then for the version 2, and then one for this one that crashed. If you can see that, so I already have 4. So I just take a dump and then just save those and maybe upload and etc. But that's really good. Doing a CLI dump does come in handy when you start changing your rates, which is awesome. And thank you, Life a Bike. Maybe I missed something, but UART6 is not always correct. If you have the older FC, it is UART6. If you have the FC from the second batch delivery, it's UART5 and set in nuts. Yes, so that's why we are making a new video thanks to Tossed 2010. And that video will be tossed, actually, because, not tossed, I'll keep it on there, but in a sense where it's going to become irrelevant, because now the version 2 comes with the using a different UART5. So I'll walk you through the steps on that. But thanks again for Tossed, because I would have never known, and I would have thought that was the go-to video. And you live and learn. Just when you thought you knew everything, you know nothing. Again, I kick it. So on that note, let's see. 4 replies. I'm only going to answer the questions, so we're going to great video, very helpful, thanks. And that's good. I'm glad that you guys, because not everybody has the same experience. Some of you guys like, oh my God, what the fuck? And some of you guys are thanks. So I appreciate the thanks, and I'm sorry, for the hate, for those that are still frustrated that it's not working for. Maybe your Windows, I don't do Windows. Sometimes Windows is a different experience. Sometimes the firmware is, you have to, reflash the firmware, and if that makes any sense. All right. So, at one point it wouldn't arm and you were going to find out why. And then you got sidetracked and then cut to something else. I mention it because mine won't arm either with the exact same setup. Yes. I don't even have to continue reading that, because if you see my new video with the GEP RC in real time, it doesn't arm. So one solution I found was to take the battery out, put it in, take the battery out, put it in. So it seems to be an FPV thing, because it's happened with all my FPV drones where it won't arm. I got to take the battery out, reset it, or sometimes reflash the firmware. If you followed all the steps and did everything in real time, and it does that, the latest video on the 20th, which is today, where that one, it doesn't arm. I had to take the battery out, and then now I have to reflash the firmware on this drone because some of the settings, the HD disappeared again. Well, I don't know, but I just want it to be fluid. Okay, ended up getting, this is Snowy, and that was by @Paulo HD. How funny, I was talking about HD and the screen name is HD. Okay, Snowy the Polar Bear 6418 says, ended up getting a new FC for free since the one I had the first time round was completely dead when it got to me. Wow, nice. Lucky you. Now paired everything but have no movement in the receiver tab, unlike you do. And also how to arm it to test if stuff works. How to arm it and test if stuff works is actually in the new video. I'll leave a link to that. But that's on the GEP RC, but the same process. You plug it in, turn it on, and then you test I go into the configuration. I'll actually leave a copy of that in the timeline so you can see that. So I'll just mark that in my show notes. Timeline for testing. And then you'll see this way, when you click it, you'll just go straight to what you're looking for. So we have timeline, but I know exactly where it is, so I don't have to hunt for it. For settings, working. Okay, so that will definitely do, because that can drive one crazy. And we got 2 replies. Danette Keith, are you able to give instructions on binding the Pavo Pico with a third-party radio transmitter boxer? Having the hardest times bonding the two. Don't want to use my DJI remote. That's a little bit tricky, because if you bought your Pavo Pico and you want to bind it to your boxer, most people buy that. Like when I bought my Pavo Pico, I bought it specifically for my DJI remote receiver. So you have to check and see which version of the Pavo Pico you bought, whether, and it tells you on the website, and then you would bind accordingly to your, I guess, VTX experience. And in that case, I only used the DJI RC, so I'm not going to be able to answer that. But Mr. Bradwell will. I'm pretty sure either him or Captain Drone would definitely have a video on that. All my videos are geared towards the gear that I have. So sorry about that, but good luck to you. And, I'll continue watching. Maybe they'll come up with a universal remote, right? Okay. Let's see. Next one. Highly recommended getting on a FPV drone simulator before attempting to fly the real thing. Yes. And that is true. As you can see here, as I showed you before, otherwise your drone winds up in pieces, and you're either going to be soldering or buying new parts for your drone, or just damaging it, and you don't want that, okay? Highly recommended, yes, and I use the drone simulator a lot. But sometimes it's not transferable because the rates are different. But the skill, so you're going to acquire the skill and the knowledge along with the concept, but everything else was just going to take time, unfortunately. Alrighty. How did you set the disarm arm button? Yes, I'll send the link to that. I'll just say disarm, but it'll be from another video, but it's the same process, okay? I paired the, that was from AxeFPV. Thanks for axing. Okay. I paired the receiver, got the green light, etc. Don't see any inputs from my controller on Betaflight. Any solution? Any inputs? That's tricky. Make sure UART5 is selected. Make sure your UART is correct, and make sure you have your sub bus, and also inside, where is it called? Make sure you have. Let's open up Betaflight. I forget what it's called, but I know exactly where. The drone is disconnected. Is this disconnected? Oh, there we are. Drone's disconnected, but still loading. Oh, there we go. Make sure, I believe it's in configuration. Is that right? No. Presets? No, that's where you fix the other stuff. Not in PID tuning. It's in receiver. Make sure serial UART is selected. That's the only thing I can suggest. Other than that, like I was saying, everything happens in real time. Maybe go back, pause, go back, pause, and make sure you have the which version. So there are two problems that can be. One, you order the wrong Pavo Pico, right? You have the Pavo Pico for a different receiver, or you have the version 2 of the Pavo Pico, which uses a different UART port, and that video is coming. Next one, Shazad Khan. I paired a receiver. We just read that one. But yes, that's for you, Shazaz. Why do I get left audio? I don't know, but I tested that video. I actually put a video together showing folks how to fix the audio, and apparently it's a DJI thing, because I actually opened up the audio file inside Audacity, and there were 2 tracks recorded, but 2 tracks were being recorded in stereo with the DJI. That's why I don't have it in there right now. 2 tracks were being recorded, and one was lower than the other, which is crazy. And why that happens, I don't know. This DJI thing is really glitchy. Oh, and I actually had to do a factory reset today on the DJI Action 4 because it was saying, due to water pressure, please press this button to have an experience with deselecting the record. I was like, I'm not even underwater. So that's a DJI thing. Hopefully they fix that. Can you make setup available? Yes, I believe that's already been made. That's about a month ago. Good video, but my controller is pairing Andriber Helenate 4320. And then good video, user MK64W. Good video, but my controller is pairing with the drone, but it's not controlling it. Okay, it gives no input to the drone. What do you do? Gosh, what do you do? I'm pretty sure that there's a video on YouTube for that. No, I'm just kidding. It's tricky because, as you saw, if you watch the other video, turning it on and off, plugging the battery out, and making sure your settings are correct, and you have the right drone for the right receiver, and your UARTs are right, and it could be tricky. Or reflashing the firmware and taking the firmware, like I said before, from the site, and then doing that. After the config, how do you turn on the engine? Battery's draining fast. I need to plug in the battery. How do you turn on? So you arm it, right? So basically, you press the button that you chose to arm the drone, or Pavo Pico. Why did you change UARTs? I changed them because that was the only way to get the drone working. And if there's another way, please do share it, because I'm sure there's more than one way to skin a cat. Maxine Bishop. Cool. Thanks, Maxine. Appreciate that. And that's it. Those are the end of the comments that came in. Oh my God, that was just for that video. Wow, there were more. All right, so maybe I'll just, no, that's it. All right, then the rest are it doesn't flash if you go to the CLI and type BL bootloader, and after that you click update. Doesn't it work? Wow, I didn't know that. So apparently 72 Castro said that if you go to the CLI command and type BL, which is short for bootloader, and after that you click update, doesn't it work? So apparently that might be another way to update without taking it apart. So you don't have to take apart the Pablo Pico so it looks like this. And then apparently you just type BL. Supposedly, if that doesn't work, you're going to have to take it apart. Try it. BL. I'll try it on that one and see if that works. New subscriber, 514 relax mode. Like that. Relax. Okay. New subscriber, welcome. Offergan 2010. I think there was another 2010 up there too, if I remember right. New subscriber, Dana Hotch. Welcome, Dana. Ismail Sierra commented, thanks, amigo. There's a video if you want on buying your drone, because there are a lot of new drones coming out. And, you know, the best thing to do is to sell your old stuff, to buy your new stuff. Otherwise, you're just going to wind up with your crap on the wall. Looks like a fly swat. So just sell it, you know, just get rid of it and level up. And save your money so you don't go hungry, and sell it. Sell your stuff. I'm a big fan of selling stuff. My wife was always like, don't sell it. You know, that's your stuff. I'm like, yeah, I want more stuff. I gotta sell it. All right. Someone liked to reply. I'm working on a video for Pablo Pico too. And everything will happen in real time. Ray Williams. I can't say this guy is really funny, but he said he used to do longer videos. And now he's just doing shorts, which is fine, but it kind of leave with a cliffhanger. So I was like, where's the video? Where's the rest of the video? I gotta have it. Let's see. Mads Tech. Mads Tech is really good. I like him, but he's a little text heavy, the guy. A lot of his videos are very, just in depth. A little too in depth, but really interesting because he really knows his shit. He's got his shit together. Do we put these on the goggles? What were they asking? They were asking something to go into the goggles, and the answer would be probably not. It's just too in depth. Seneto Elu, 3 days ago. No, most likely nothing goes in the goggles. Everything is configured. Actually, you know what? Let's just gotta do it. Okay, hello, my friend. I've seen some of your videos. Do we put these in the goggles? I'm not really sure what they're asking. What we put into the goggles. What's happening to be able to... Okay, just need more practice. It's in questions to another question. You can really get lost in these comment section. Rates were changed. Oh, rates. Okay. No, the rates are actually... How does one input these settings? Yes, that's another thing. 200. So Foz Fro 81, like the video I had done with the Pablo Pico when I was flying outside. Really well. Thanks. How does one input these settings? 200, 360, on 3 axes. Where do I go? In roll, pitch, and yaw. And someone asked, do these settings go in the goggles? No, they don't go in the goggles. Actually, I should reply to that. They actually go into beta flight, and they probably don't know. But except I don't, actually, these are really interesting settings. I might try that. And I'll have to reply back. Take a note, because that's a good one right there. See all these comments. So sorry if I haven't gotten to your comment, and that was 9 days ago. What's it called? Beginners. I put the baby on there so you can fly like a baby boss. I'll just put baby boss. And then I'll have to go to that comment of Foz Fro 81. All right, so I'm going to do that later. And then there's more comments in here. Wow, it's interesting. Yes, use it on each one. All right, so yeah, I have to, as you can see, I got a lot of catching up to do on these comments. Rico, drone imagery tips, tricks, I'll have to check, okay. We have Rosval commented, what is your Mac model? My Mac model is a MacBook Air, and that's all I know. It works, but the processor is not the best. As you can see, if you saw in the comments, someone said it was my computer with the liftoff experience not being as fluid, and I thought it was Jello, but trees do fall from everywhere. Mesut Drumus is trying to do something with his configuration. Didn't work out. Sorry about that. basically he wants to activate some sort of FCC feature, but trying to spoof the drone setup so it thinks that you're somewhere else. But that may or may not work depending on your internet connection. Someone liked your reply. Go into your email and check your order. Yes, check your order to make sure you have the right version of the Paco Paco. Giovanni, thank you. So when we want to fly it, we just fly it in automatic mode. For the FCC hack, you fly in a mode that's best for you. I like to fly in channel 3, but channel 3 doesn't always work everywhere and anywhere. So you have to choose a channel that works right for you if you're using the FCC hack. And again, Masoud said thanks so much. Snowy, the polar bear, commented. Ended up getting a new flight controller. I think we saw that one already. Nick Meme, Akta. Andrew Hussey commented, why do I only get left audio? Oh yeah, we saw that one already. Because it's a Osmo Action 4 thing. If you see the video, you'll see the tracks, and there are 2 tracks, and why I don't know. They need to fix that, and especially the drone actually will sometimes think it's on the not drone the Action 4 will give an error saying it's underwater, and I can't stop recording. So I actually have to cut the video short because the Osmo Action 4 actually turned off. Apparently it overheated. That's the downside. And I think the video was only about 30 minutes long, 45 maybe. So that's the downside again to the Osmo Action 4. If it's not moving, the airflow is not going through, and you just can't it can't sustain itself. But on that note, sorry if I missed some of your comments and questions, but I will get back to them perhaps in the next video. And if you have ideas for other videos, do leave them down below. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.